The ultimatum. The massive viewing deck of Station Omega-7 stretched across 3 kilometers of reinforced glass, offering a breathtaking view of the Andromeda Nebula. Commander Maya Reeves stood with her back straight and her dark eyes focused on the swirling colors beyond. She had traveled 47 light-years from Earth to attend this meeting, and she already knew it would not go well. The Galactic Trade Syndicate had summoned humanity's representative, and when the syndicate summoned someone, it was never good news. Maya turned as the doors behind her opened with a pneumatic hiss. 3 beings entered the chamber, each representing one of the syndicate's founding species. The first was a Caloran, standing 3 meters tall with crystalline skin that reflected light in rainbow patterns. The second was a Morphic, a shapeshifter whose form constantly shifted like liquid mercury. The third was a Zentari, a being of pure energy contained within a mechanical suit. These 3 species had controlled galactic commerce for 10,000 years. The Caloran spoke first, its voice resonating like wind chimes. "Commander Reeves, we appreciate your prompt arrival. The Syndicate has matters of great importance to discuss with humanity." Maya nodded but said nothing. She had learned long ago that silence often revealed more than words in these negotiations. The Morphic flowed forward, its form solidifying into something vaguely humanoid. "Your species has been part of the galactic community for 73 of your Earth years. In that time, you have benefited greatly from our technology, our trade routes, and our protection. Would you not agree?" Maya remained silent, watching them carefully. The Zentari's mechanical voice crackled to life. "The Syndicate requires something from Earth. Your planet possesses a unique magnetic core, unlike any other world we have encountered. The exotic particles generated by your core's interaction with solar radiation are essential for our next generation of faster-than-light drives. We need complete access to harvest these particles." Maya finally spoke, her voice calm and measured. "Harvesting particles from Earth's magnetic core would destabilize our planet's magnetic field. Without that field, solar radiation would strip away our atmosphere. Earth would become uninhabitable within 50 years. Surely you understand this is not something we can agree to." The Caloran's crystalline form seemed to brighten with amusement. "Commander, you misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. The Syndicate has already decided. In exchange for access to your magnetic core, humanity will be relocated to 3 garden worlds in the Vega system. They are beautiful planets, perfectly suited for human life. Your species will thrive there." Maya felt her jaw tighten, but she kept her expression neutral. "You're asking us to abandon our homeworld, the planet where humanity evolved, where our entire history exists, where billions of people have built their lives. You want us to give that up and become refugees on worlds you've chosen for us?" The Morphic's form rippled with what might have been irritation. "You speak as if you have a choice. The Syndicate controls every trade route, every communication relay, every refueling station between star systems. Without our cooperation, humanity's colonies will be isolated. Your ships will be stranded. Your economy will collapse. You cannot survive without us." The Zentari added, "You have 48 standard hours to agree. If you refuse, humanity will be designated as a non-cooperative species. You will be removed from all trade agreements. Your access to Syndicate technology will be revoked. Your species will be alone in the universe." Maya took a deep breath and looked each of them in the eye, or what passed for eyes in their alien forms. "I don't need 48 hours. Earth's answer is no." The room fell silent. The 3 Syndicate representatives seemed frozen in place, as if Maya had spoken in a language they couldn't understand. The Caloran was the first to recover, its chiming voice rising in pitch. "No, you cannot say no. No species has ever refused a Syndicate directive. It is not done. It is not possible." Maya smiled, and it was not a friendly smile. "Then humanity will be the first. We will not abandon Earth. We will not let you destroy our world for your convenience. Find another source for your exotic particles or develop your technology without them. Earth is not for sale, trade, or surrender." The Morphic's form became agitated, shifting rapidly between shapes. "You doom your species to isolation and poverty. Without the Syndicate, you have nothing. Your colonies will starve. Your ships will drift powerless in space. Your civilization will collapse." Maya turned to leave, pausing at the door. "We'll see about that. You've made one critical error in your calculations. You assumed humanity needs you more than we need our home. You assumed we would choose survival over sovereignty. You assumed we would bargain with the unbargainable. You were wrong on all counts." As Maya walked through the station's corridors back to her ship, She could already see the panic beginning. Alien traders whispered frantically into communication devices. Data streams flashed across screens as news of humanity's refusal spread across the galaxy at faster than light speeds. No one had ever told the Syndicate no before. No species had ever chosen isolation over submission. Within hours, the galactic stock markets began to fluctuate wildly. The Syndicate controlled thousands of species through economic pressure and technological dependency. Every species in the galaxy had surrendered something precious to maintain their place in the galactic community. The Altarians had given up their ocean worlds. The Proxians had surrendered their ancestral mining rights. The Quellans had allowed the Syndicate to harvest their sun's energy, dimming their star by 30%. Everyone had made sacrifices. Everyone had submitted. Until now. On her ship, Maya opened a secure channel to Earth. President Chen appeared on the screen, his expression grave but determined. "Commander Reeves, we received your transmission. The Council has unanimously supported your decision. Operation Independence is now active. All colonies have been notified. The recall has begun," Maya nodded. "They gave us 48 hours, but I don't think they'll wait that long. They're too shocked, too angry. They'll try to make an example of us immediately." President Chen's expression hardened. "Let them try. We've been preparing for this day for 30 years. Every human colony has underground facilities with enough resources to last decades. Every ship in our fleet has been quietly retrofitted with our own technology. We learned from their systems, improved them, and made them ours. We don't need their trade routes anymore." Through her ship's sensors, Maya could see Syndicate vessels beginning to surround the station. They were already mobilizing, already preparing to enforce their ultimatum. But something else was happening too. Ships from other species were backing away, creating distance between themselves and the Syndicate forces. The Tellarites, the Rigelians, the Andromedans, all species that had submitted to Syndicate demands for centuries, were watching and waiting. Maya's communication officer turned to her with wide eyes. "Commander, we're receiving encrypted messages from 17 different species. They're all asking the same question, how? How did we have the courage to say no?" Maya smiled grimly. "Tell them to watch and learn. The Syndicate's power comes from fear, from the belief that submission is the only option. Humanity is about to prove that belief wrong. We're about to show the galaxy that there's another way." As her ship departed from Station Omega-7, Maya could see the news spreading across the galactic networks. "Earth refuses Syndicate directive" blazed across headlines in 1,000 different languages. "Humans choose isolation over submission." The day someone said no. The panic in the galaxy wasn't just about humanity's refusal. It was about what that refusal represented. If humans could say no, if they could survive without the Syndicate, then maybe, just maybe, everyone else could too. The next 48 hours would determine not just humanity's fate, but potentially the fate of every species under Syndicate control. The established order of 10,000 years was about to be challenged by a species that had been spacefaring for less than a century. The galaxy held its breath and waited to see what would happen when the unstoppable force of the Syndicate met the immovable object of human determination. The revelation. The first wave of economic warfare hit Earth's colonies exactly 12 hours after Maya's refusal. Trade stations suddenly refused to sell fuel to human ships. Medical supplies meant for human settlements were mysteriously rerouted. Food shipments disappeared from manifests. The Syndicate was using every tool at their disposal to bring humanity to its knees. But something unexpected happened. The human colonies didn't panic. They didn't scramble for resources or beg for mercy. They simply adapted. On Colony Prime, humanity's largest settlement outside Earth, Governor Marcus Webb stood before a crowd of 50,000 colonists. Behind him, massive screens showed the Syndicate's blockade ships surrounding their planet. "Citizens of Colony Prime," he began, his voice carrying across the plaza. "Today marks the beginning of humanity's true independence. For too long we've hidden our capabilities, pretended to be dependent on Syndicate technology. That pretense ends now." Marcus pressed a control on his podium and the screens changed. They now showed vast underground complexes, fusion reactors, hydroponic farms, and manufacturing facilities that stretched for kilometers beneath the colony's surface. For 30 years, every human colony has been building these facilities in secret. "We can produce our own food, Our own medicine, our own technology. We don't need the Syndicate. We never really did. Across the galaxy, similar revelations were occurring on every human world. On the ice moon of Proxima, colonists unveiled geothermal energy systems that the Syndicate had declared impossible. On the desert world of Kepler, humans revealed atmospheric processors that turned sand into breathable air without any alien technology. On the water world of Tethys, underwater cities emerged from the depths, completely self-sufficient and invisible to Syndicate sensors. Back on Station Omega-7, the 3 Syndicate representatives watched these developments with growing alarm. The Kaloran's crystalline form flickered with distress. This is impossible. Their technology level shouldn't allow for such independence. We've monitored their development carefully. The Morphic writhed in agitation. They've been hiding their true capabilities. They've been pretending to need us while secretly preparing for this moment. How did we not see this? The Zentari's energy form pulsed erratically. It doesn't matter how. What matters is stopping them. If other species see that independence is possible, the entire structure of the Syndicate could collapse. We must make an example of humanity immediately. The Syndicate fleet moved toward Earth with overwhelming force. 500 warships, each capable of devastating a planet, formed an attack formation. The message was clear: submit or be destroyed. But as they approached Earth's solar system, something extraordinary happened. Space itself seemed to shimmer and bend. The Syndicate ships suddenly found themselves unable to move forward. They weren't being pushed back. They simply couldn't progress, as if space itself had become solid. Admiral Sarah Blackstone appeared on every screen in the Syndicate fleet. Attention, Syndicate forces. You have entered a quantum barrier field generated by humanity's defensive network. Your ships are unharmed but cannot proceed. This technology is beyond your understanding because it's not based on anything you shared with us. We developed it ourselves in secret by studying the fundamental forces of the universe without your limitations. The Kaloran commander responded immediately. This is an act of war. Release our ships immediately or face the consequences. Sarah's expression didn't change. The consequences of what? You've already cut us off from trade, isolated our colonies, and threatened our existence. What more can you do? Meanwhile, let me show you what humanity has learned. The screens changed to show Earth's moon, where massive doors were opening on the lunar surface. Ships began emerging, not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands. Each ship was unlike anything the Syndicate had seen. Powered by zero-point energy systems and equipped with weapons that manipulated fundamental forces. We call this the Silent Fleet, Sarah continued. We've been building it for 3 decades, hidden beneath the lunar surface. Every ship is crewed by humans who volunteered to defend our sovereignty. We don't want war, but we're prepared for it. The question is, are you? The panic that had started with Maya's refusal now exploded across the galaxy. On the Syndicate's core worlds, other species began asking uncomfortable questions. If humanity could develop such technology in secret, what else were they capable of? If humans could survive without the Syndicate, why couldn't they? The Altarians were the first to act. Their representative stood before the Galactic Council and announced, "The Altarian Commonwealth is reconsidering its trade agreements. We want to renegotiate our terms." Within hours, 12 other species made similar announcements. The Syndicate's control, maintained through fear and dependency for 10 millennia, was crumbling in real time. Back on Earth, President Chen held an emergency session with leaders from across the planet and colonies. "We need to be careful," he said. "We've shown our strength, but we don't want to become what we're fighting against. When this is over, we need to offer a better way forward, not just for humanity, but for everyone." Dr. James Park, head of Earth's Technology Division, added his thoughts. "We should share our quantum barrier technology with species that want independence. Not freely, but fairly. Real trade, not exploitation. Show the galaxy that cooperation doesn't require submission." Maya, who had returned to Earth during the crisis, spoke up. "The Syndicate's power came from making species believe they had no choice. We've proven that's false. But if we're not careful, we could create chaos. We need to offer an alternative structure, one based on voluntary cooperation rather than forced submission." As discussions continued on Earth, the standoff in space remained tense. The Syndicate fleet was trapped but unharmed, a deliberate choice by humanity to show strength without cruelty. Videos of the Silent Fleet and the quantum barrier spread across the galactic networks. Species that had never questioned the Syndicate's authority were now openly discussing resistance. The Morphic ambassador sent a private message to Earth's leadership, You have destabilized 10,000 years of order. The galaxy will descend into chaos without the Syndicate's control. President Chen responded personally. Order without freedom is just another form of chaos. The galaxy doesn't need controllers. It needs partners. Humanity is offering a different path, one where species cooperate by choice, trade fairly, and respect each other's sovereignty. The old way is ending whether you accept it or not. 47 hours after Maya's refusal, just 1 hour before the Syndicate's deadline, something unprecedented happened. The Zentari, one of the 3 founding species of the Syndicate, sent a message to Earth. We wish to discuss terms, not for your surrender but for a new agreement. The galaxy is changing, and perhaps it's time for the Syndicate to change as well. The message sent shockwaves through both the Syndicate and the rebellious species. One of the founders was willing to negotiate, to consider a different way forward. The Caloran and Morphic representatives were furious, but they couldn't act without unanimous agreement from the founders. President Chen appeared on screens across the galaxy. Humanity accepts the Zentari's offer to discuss new terms. We propose a galactic assembly, where all species have equal voice, where trade is fair, and where no world is forced to sacrifice its survival for another's profit. We don't seek to rule or control. We seek partnership, cooperation, and mutual respect. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Hundreds of species announced their interest in joining such an assembly. The Syndicate's monopoly on galactic trade and technology had been broken not by war, but by the simple act of saying no. Humanity had shown that courage was contagious, that one species standing up could inspire thousands. As the quantum barrier was lowered and the Syndicate fleet was allowed to retreat, Admiral Blackstone sent a final message. We never wanted conflict. We wanted freedom. Today, we didn't just win independence for humanity. We opened the door for every species to choose their own path. The galaxy will never be the same. The revolution that began with Maya's 2-letter word had transformed the entire galactic order in less than 2 days. The Syndicate still existed, but its power was broken. A new age had begun, one where species could choose cooperation over submission, partnership over servitude, and at the center of it all was humanity. The species that had dared to say no when everyone else had forgotten that was even an option. The galaxy had panicked when humans refused to bargain. Now it celebrated the courage that had set them all free.